What you're about to hear is Bored, the 5th episode of Welcome to Fairmont this year. This is a WKET production created by Alana Orion and myself, Colleen Freeze. If you haven't heard the things that came before this, look us up on YouTube as Welcome to Fairmont. That's where you'll find this sort of thing. And hey, thanks for tuning in with us. We've done a lot to get this to a place where you can enjoy it.
Hello, Fairmont. The story continues in our community, and we're here again to share it with you. We, of course, refers to myself, Harmony.
And me, Psyche.
Over the past month or so, we've been following the story of another prophecy, this one centering around Carmody and his attempt at getting nighttime classes here at Fairmont. Today we'll continue to cover that, as well as some other events in the area.
Events such as the annual Day of Blackout and a local observance of Small Business Saturday.
I've been seeing people around town getting ready for that blackout all week. Now, I've never gotten to experience this day myself, but from what I hear, it's quite the event. If you, like me, don't really know what it's about or just want to hear some background on it, then you're doing something right.
The annual Blackout is an ancient tradition that has been going on in Fairmont for a millennium or more. Until recently, it was one of those things that we did more out of habit than for any real meaning, but it has been discovered that the origin of the event dates back to the time when the standing stones were erected in the forest. Inscriptions on the invisible stone have been read and translated via crayon rubbing and say that the blackout was started to hide our town from the eyes of the gods on that one night.
The blackout was meant to hide our impurities from those gods and renew their faith in us for another year. Traditional celebration of the blackout starts on Saturday evening, when the people of Fairmont will gather in the center of town to place the final shroud over our monolith. Then we, appropriately hooded of course, will make our way back home to hide in the darkness in a nighttime vigil. The event, of course, will end when the sun rises and a scream is heard from no discernible source.
The blackout is definitely one of those things I miss participating in. I remember those nights where my dad would tell us stories that literally made it feel like bugs were crawling under our skins. Such good times.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I hope you have fun with it. Anyway, we do have other news to get to, which we'll be moving on to now.
Oh, yes. So now we have an update for you on Carmody's campaign. The board met this past week, and we sent Lydia to witness that. She told us that Carmody's presentation went really well, and that the board seemed receptive to it.
At least as receptive as the board can be to such petty schoolish affairs.
Well, yeah. Lydia also informed us that one of the board members announced that they will not be running for re-election next year. We all know what that means, but I guess we'll burn that bridge when we cross it.
We got the chance to chat with Misty after the board meeting, and she thought that it had gone well. Unfortunately, in the wake of the presentation, there are rumors of Patrick's followers from last year trying to oppose the motion.
And if you'll recall, there were people last year who wanted to separate the living and the dead, and the leaders of that were Patrick and Willie. Patrick, I'm ashamed to say, was one of our freshmen here at WKET, and he's the only person to have gotten kicked out of the station in nearly 300 years.
Well, he and Willie both vanished last year without a trace. The people who stood with them are still attending this school. It is a group of those people who were at the meeting on Wednesday night and who plan to oppose Carmody's plan.
And that's a very troubling development. You remember what those groups did to each other, right? They remember what they did to each other? Please?
How could I forget? How could they forget? I don't know what they're doing. This was an unforeseen yet unsurprising development in the story. We will certainly keep you updated on that as things move forward.
We did receive word this morning, however, that the board has left for their home planet, so the discussion has been started. A yet unscheduled meeting will take place on the evening of their return, so keep an eye out for their massive winged shapes in the sky and a tweet saying something catchy like, "We have returned."
That is all we have on that for now, so we're going to take you on to our PSAs for the day.
Hello, Fairmont. This is Jack Carmody. You might know me from my weather reports here on WKET. I'm here to ask you to stand with me to get nighttime classes here at Fairmont for all of us who still can't leave. It's more important now than it ever has been before, since we now have to consciously sit through the night. So join me in this fight, and together, we can make a difference.
This is Psyche from WKET, and I wanted to remind you all that community service is important to a healthy city. Even though I can't leave the school, I make it a point to help out around it, to make it a better environment for everyone who uses it. I wanted to encourage you all to find a way to help someone else out today. We can't all be optimistic, but we don't have to be miserable. I really don't like that PSA. Anyway, welcome back, listeners. We have another community news story for you this afternoon, and that's about our local observance of Small Business Saturday.
We all know about the national holiday that takes place in November, but we here in Fairmont like to encourage and support our local businesses year-round. So we have another opportunity to come out as a community and buy things from local shops.
Small Business Saturday will be next week, so if you're able, make sure to get all your neighbors to go out to the town. Oh, and make sure you wear the mandatory masks to let those business owners know that you are there to support them.
With that, we'll be taking you on to the weather for today. Carmody?
Thanks, Harmony. Today's weather is going to be, well, dark. In preparation for the blackout tomorrow, the sun has decided not to come up until Sunday morning, when it will rise at precisely 4:17 a.m. Until then, you can expect the temperatures to be pretty stable at a comfortable 34 degrees. Thanks for tuning in. Now back to Psych and Harmony.
We are back for a little while longer today, and joining us now is Misty.
Hello, everyone.
You had a few things you wanted to add about your work with Carmody today?
Well, yes. I wanted to share a little about what happened at last week's board meeting. Of course, I'm always proud to be a part of things like this, but helping Carmody has been particularly fun. In all my 714 years, I've never done anything quite like this, and I must say, I'm rather proud of what's come out of it so far.
So, do you think that something's going to be changed?
I certainly hope so, but yes, I think that they can't help but do something at this point. Carmody can be very persuasive.
He is very well spoken.
But I heard you talking earlier about those thanophobic fanatics. Can you believe the nerve of them?
Right. You would think that they would be all for this plan, since it has the potential to take some of the undead out of their classes during the day.
Well, I've seen their type before. It's unfortunately in some people's nature to argue against anything that'll make other people's lives, or as the case may be here, unlives better. They just want to make themselves look better by making everyone else miserable.
Well, that seems egocentric.
It really is. I usually just try to stay away from those types of people, those and the ones who like to play the victim.
Ugh, I know that type.
I think we all know that type.
Well, there is certainly that. But there's really very little the thanophobic fanatics can do to throw off our campaign at this point. The board's already gone off to make their decision.
That's true.
Guys, those people you're talking about are sort of protesting in the lobby.
Oh, those fools.
And she's gone. Lydia, go take notes on what happens there.
But please don't get yourself involved.
You got it.
I think that's about going to do it for us today. We can't really effectively report on that protest in the little time we have left.
Yeah, I agree. So, thanks for tuning in with us today. Join us again in 2 weeks when we will tell you about what's about to happen in the lobby here at Fairmont High School.
We'll try to have Misty on again to tell you about it and whatever else comes up between now and then.
Until then, happy nightmares.
Welcome to Fairmont is a WKAT production produced and performed by Colleen Freeze as Psyche and Alana Orion as Harmony. We also have the voicing talents of Cameron Knopp as Jack Carmody, Makenna Kramer as Misty, and Lydia Freeze as her zombified self.
I can't say thank you enough to express what it means that you've listened to us this far. We are nearing the end though, so tune in again in 2 weeks for Meeting, the penultimate in our series.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at FHS Media, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Welcome to Fairmont. There you can listen to our show forever. Until then, happy nightmares!